golf exercises, bulletproof your back at home. I'm Dr. Sam Attanasio. Here are 5 of my favorite exercises. Very briefly, weaknesses in muscles can contribute to back pain. What happens is your lower back has to compensate for all of these weaknesses. So the top 5 muscle groups that we're also looking at to strengthen to protect your lower back is your lower back itself, your glutes, your hamstrings, your hip flexors, and your core. In no particular order, the first exercise is Superman's. Superman's work the entire posterior chain, but have a very big focus on your low back and your glutes. A big focus when doing your Superman's is by actually squeezing your glutes. You want to make sure that you're trying to take a lot of the stress off your low back and put it right into your glutes. This is going to allow your glutes to be a lot more active in everyday life and especially in your golf swing versus having it all be targeted in your lower back. Now you will feel it in your low back still. If you're looking to make this exercise harder, you can reach out your arms a lot further and you can also hold at the top for longer times between reps. So you can do a rep and hold for 10 seconds and then go down, or you can just do rep after rep after rep. If you're struggling to do this exercise, a variation of this would be just doing it with your lower body or just doing it with your upper body. The upper body portion of this is going to work more your lower back, while the lower body portion is going to work more of your glutes. The second exercise is hip thrusts. This also targets the glutes a lot, but it also incorporates a lot more hamstring activity into the mix. Now there are a lot of variations of hip thrusts that you've seen in the gym where I could be laying on a bench or I could be elevated somehow. Since we're doing that at home, we're just laying on the ground and you're thrusting upwards. One of the focuses, again, squeezing your glutes, making sure that you're driving your pelvis up and forward towards the sky. To make this a little bit more difficult, you can again hold between reps. If you have something heavy like a backpack, you can throw it on your stomach so that you're actually thrusting something into the air, some weight. Or you can incorporate single leg into the mix, where now you're focused on driving with just one glute and one hamstring lifting your body weight. The third exercise is a 3-way kneeling hip flexor raise. If you couldn't tell by the name, this targets your hip flexors and is one of the most underdeveloped part in a golfer's body. A single rep equals lifting your leg 3 times out and 3 times back in. To do this exercise, you go to a knee and you're focused on essentially having imaginary objects here that you're trying to lift your leg over and primarily move with your hip flexor. So be careful that you're not leaning over too much while actually getting that movement. We're trying to stay as upright as possible, really focused on lifting from the hip flexor up. So if you need the visualization, throw something down on the ground and you can see that you're actually lifting up and over it. But if you're looking to make it harder, grab something that's going to require you to actually get up in the air more, like a cup, where you really have to focus on driving up and around that. That's going to target your hip flexor more. The fourth exercise is leg lowering with flutter kicks at the bottom. This exercise is great for developing your lower abs, which is going to help take a lot of stress off that back. One of the big things to pay attention to on this exercise is where your low back is actually in contact with the ground. So right now you can see that I can stick my hands under my back. Ideally, you're going to want to have your back flat on the ground where you can't stick anything in. This means that your low back is not engaged and your core is taking the brunt of the exercise. So as I lift up my legs, you can see that I am still in contact with the ground. As it gets difficult and I'm lowering, still in contact with the ground, you're gonna want to start going like this. I just lost contact with the ground. My back is now taking the brunt of the load and my core has been unloaded. This is exactly what causes back pain. When your core is inactive in everyday life, and especially in the golf swing, your low back takes the brunt of the load, so we need to start developing your core to have more strength to protect your back. So as you're lowering down your legs, really focus on keeping that low back in contact with the ground, and as you're going through your flutter kicks, make sure you keep in contact with the ground. If you're not capable of actually having your legs out straight and lowering them to the ground controlled and slowly without just arching your back a whole bunch off the ground, what you can do is actually have your knees be bent. So have your knees be slightly bent and lower them down, still trying to keep your back in contact. You can hang out, you can do little flutters, almost like bicycle kicks, and then you can go back up. So this would be the variation. As you start straightening out your legs more and more and more, you're putting more strain on your core, basically making this exercise harder. If you're looking to make this more difficult, hang out on the ground hovering a little bit longer with more flutter kicks, or add more reps. And the fifth and final exercise is Russian twists. This is another core exercise, but now we're focused instead of on the lower core, the obliques. Obliques are responsible for taking on the brunt of rotation to protect your back. And you know the golf swing is full of rotation, so super important to be strong in that rotational pattern to help take strain off your back. This exercise can be done a few different ways. If you're a beginner, you can have your feet on the ground and you're just rotating while leaning backwards. Now, if you're looking for a little bit more advanced, you can lift your legs up and begin that rotation, or you can hold something heavy and rotate with the weight. Tons of different variations to do this exercise to strengthen your obliques. The amount of sets and reps vary based on your skill level and where your fitness level is at, but that is my top 5 list to bulletproof your back at home. Let us know in the comments down below if you have any questions about this. Remember to like, subscribe, share it with a friend who needs to bulletproof their back so you can keep taking money from them on the golf course, and make sure that you are bulletproofing your back.